Alrighty, hello. So, figured I would come on here and do a video while this cutie pie is nursing and napping. Might as well, because I got nothing else to do until 11 when I get to go take her to her swim class. So we got like 50 minutes. And so I had posed the question of what can I do work-wise, career-wise, right? That I love and brings me joy that I can do and get paid. And of course, this kind of popped into my mind of, I asked the question and in comes the answer, not even an hour or so later of, put your opinions out there and talk about this stuff that brings you joy. And thinking about all the time that I was spending making videos with Danielle, and we're not doing that now, right? Like, we're not chatting. And so what can I fill that space doing? What can I do that brings me joy to fill that space? And talking about things that I'm passionate about is something that I can continue to do to fill that space. It doesn't necessarily have to be to Danielle, and I don't currently have someone, in my life to have these conversations with. So as I said in my video from yesterday, I might as well just go ahead and have these conversations with myself. So here goes. Sunday, while I was hiking with Sandra, as I said, giving her the advice of not waiting around for somebody to do the things that you love and that you want to do, but just doing them by yourself. And then realizing, oh, okay, touche universe, like, touche Jenny, that's you need to listen to your own advice. And when we were there at Papago Park, there was I love Papago for hiking, by the way, like Red Rocks, that place, and it's close. It's like a 20-minute drive from my house. It is my local happy place, and of course I have like the canal that's a 5 to 10 minute walk from my house, where at least I can connect to some water, usually the ducks, watch a beautiful sunrise or sunset, and then there's the Superstition Mountains, which is a little further, usually at least 30 plus minutes, 40 probably minutes, depending on where in the Supes I'm trying to go, to hike, to connect to nature. And then of course I am so blessed to only be like 2.5 hours from Sedona, and talk about more red rocks, red dirt, just brings me so much joy. And then of course tying into Kauai, which is a lot further of a ways to go. But so when we were there at Papago, underneath the initial like overhang park benches, I'm totally blanking on what it's called right now, it's like on the tip of my tongue, and I cannot think of what it's called when there's the place to sit, pavilion. Okay. And there was a bunch of military personnel, and it said something about that being like the check-in station for the medics, and then it said something about like a Caduceus cup. I don't know, but it looked like it was they were there for some sort of competition or something like that. So the military personnel, and then I noticed on, I think it was the drive home that day, I drove past a van, and it was Semper Fi, like heating and plumbing, or heating and AC and plumbing, or something like that, right? And then I was like, huh, okay, that's like too military, but didn't really think much of it still. And I was just like, well, those are some military signs. And then a third one, the Semper Fi, this business that of course I've never heard of until now. All of a sudden the van is like sitting on my street as I'm coming home from a walk with my pup and Lily. And so I took a picture and I sent it to Sandra, because you know she's someone who recently I've shared some of these signs with, and she goes, what do you think it means? I was like, huh, that's a good question. What do I think this means? So I sat there and I thought about it in my head, and yes, analytical me, and I was like, you know, yesterday when I saw those military personnel, I remember thinking in my head how judgmental I was being. That I was like, well, fighting's not the answer. You know, fighting just creates more fighting, just creates more war, more fighting, more strife, more disease, more, you know, like disconnect from love. And I was like, okay, little Miss Judgy, then how would you do anything differently? I was like, huh, that's a good question. What would I do differently? So this is all my internal dialect, and I'm like, well, I would create an army of love. An army of love and hugs. That's what I want instead. Instead of an army of fighting and killing and punishing and torturing and judging and right, like we do have judgments. We're human. It's our gift is our free will, our judgment, our ego. It's our gift. And so I was like, okay, well, that's what I would do differently. And it can't exist until somebody thinks of it, right? And then once somebody thinks of it, that idea can come to fruition. And how beautiful would that be if that was our new way of dealing with conflict and dealing with this stuff, instead of war, because they're just doing what they know, right? That's what they think is best, and that's totally fine. But coming from a different perspective, one that is not the popular perspective, right? And there was this woman, and she was with her family with these military personnel, and she said, thank you for your service. And I remembered thinking, like, I don't know if I'm really that thankful for their, like, I mean, yes, because of them there's a lot of positives and benefits, but I was like, but also I'm not thankful for fighting, for war, for killing, for punishment, for torture, for, right? So I was like, what would I want to do instead? And ultimately, the people that are experiencing that, kind of like Gabor Mate's, the Compassion Prison Project, those are some of the people that deserve love the most, because they've been the ones that have had it withheld in their life. And gosh, I'm trying not to get too ADD here, because this is like a whole nother video topic of why people are the way they are. But they're so disconnected from receiving love that those are some of the people that need love the most. And how can we do that for them instead of punishing, instead of condemning? And how can we just love them instead? And I was reminded of being in college at University of Illinois and being on the quad. And of course I did not take these people up on this. And now, oh my goodness, I wish I could go back and take these people up on this. Because they were the odd people, the odd people out, the different ones. And now I'd be like, oh dude, I'm right here with you, let me join in. And sorry, I know I'm so distracted. They would stand on the quad holding sides that said free hugs. And just, you could go up to them and they would just embrace you and give you a hug. And it's so beautiful. And judgy Miss Me back then was like, oh, well, you're weird. And now I'm like, God, that is so beautiful. And I wish there was a person standing in front of me now with one of those signs that just said free hugs. Because you betcha I would go up and just receive it. And that's the thing, is some of those people that deserve our love the most are so closed off that they wouldn't be open to receiving it, right? Because it would be so uncomfortable for them. They wouldn't know how to receive an army of hugs. But at least maybe removing the judgment of them doing what they're doing and just loving them instead and showing them compassion instead. So again, this is my idea. I'm putting it out there. It is February 8th of 2023. I had to check the date. It is February 8th of 2023. And I am putting my idea into the universe that our armies are armies of hugs and love. That's what an army is. And just allowing myself to speak up, as my therapist has encouraged me to do. I am opinionated. Thank you. Of course, the first time she said it, immediately I felt, oh, like it was a bad thing, right? Like ashamed. And she goes, you're opinionated, and that's a good thing. And you need to speak up more and share your opinions. And I was like, oh, okay, that's the first time anybody has encouraged me to speak up and to be opinionated and to share my opinions. And you know, if I feel this way, other people out there have to feel this way too. And it might not be the majority currently, but if I start to voice that this is how I feel, then it can attract others who feel the way that I feel, and we can bring an army of hugs into fruition. So thank you for joining me on my first journey, and I'm getting there, right? Yesterday I was speaking some truth, and I'm gonna start filling my free time with these videos instead and posting them here on my YouTube and see where it goes. So let me know what you think of my army of hugs. I love you and have a wonderful day.